Thorfinn is one of the most complex, heartbreaking characters in all of anime. He's not just a warrior, he's not just a victim, he's the embodiment of what happens when innocence meets war and loses. Today, we're diving into why Thorfinn from Vinland Saga might be the most tragic character in all of anime. Thorfinn was born into peace, but destined for war. His father Thors was a legendary warrior who abandoned violence in a search for a better life. But when his past inevitably caught up to him, it didn't just take Thors. It shattered Thorfinn's entire world. He watched his father die in front of him, not in battle, but as a man of honor who stood above violence. And in that moment, Thorfinn made a silent vow for revenge. He was 6 years old, and from that day forward, Thorfinn wasn't a child anymore. He was a blade aimed at Askeladd's heart, and he kept sharpening himself for years for the opportunity. Thorfinn became a machine. He fought, killed, survives, all to earn a duel with the man who killed his father. But the real tragedy? Askeladd knows what he's doing and just uses him. And over time, it's not even about vengeance. It's about purpose. It's all Thorfinn has. That revenge, that need for that revenge. Take that away, and he has nothing at all. When Askeladd finally dies, not by Thorfinn's hand, he doesn't feel relief. He feels empty, because Askeladd was his reason to live. Even if it was just hate, just anger, just revenge, all of it was taken away from him. And in that moment, he truly had nothing. After losing his purpose, Thorfinn fell into slavery, physically and mentally. But here's the thing. He was a slave long before he ever had chains around him. A slave to hatred, to war, to guilt, to revenge, to the memory of his father. The most daunting part of Vinland Saga is watching Thorfinn wake up. He starts dreaming again, not of killing, but of peace. He begins to not just remember, but understand his father's words, trying to rebuild himself. And that's when the tragedy really hits. Every peaceful moment he gets is a reminder of everything he destroyed to get here. Thorfinn's journey isn't just about revenge or survival. It's about forgiveness, most importantly, of himself. He goes from destroying lives to wanting to protect them above all else, and eventually finding it in himself to forgive himself for all he did, because he eventually has to come to terms with the fact that he was just a child who didn't know any better, a child who wanted what was obvious in front of him, the shiny object right there, because it was so easy to want that. And he didn't have anything else. He didn't have anyone to tell him that he shouldn't do that. He had no one. He got dreams of Vinland, a place free of war, not just a destination, but a symbol, a promise to never go back to where he came from. And unlike many tragic characters, Thorfinn doesn't die for redemption. He lives for it, which, as you get older, you understand is much harder. Thorfinn's story is the perfect example of a tragic arc that doesn't end in darkness, but ends in hope. That hope, however, comes at a cost. Years of blood, guilt, pain, and eventually healing. And that's what makes Thorfinn the most tragic character in all of anime, because his tragedy is real. He doesn't just go through a tragic thing and then die at the end of it for peace. No, he has to live with his evils. He has to live with his past and come to understand, how do I fix it? He has to figure that out all by himself. It's not how much he lost. It's in how much he had to fight to become more than what life tried to make him, even what fate tried to make him. Thank you so much for listening, and if you enjoyed the video, maybe consider subscribing, and thank you so much. I'd love to hear your thoughts at the comments below. Have a great day.
Artlist.io